for today. We can be the light of a hypnotizing hope. We can be the light of a hypnotizing hope. We can be the light of a hypnotizing hope. We can be the light of anything. We can be the light of a hypnotizing hope. We can be the light of a hypnotizing hope. We can be the light of a hypnotizing hope. We can be the light of anything.
Getting started, you want to grab yourself some heavier weight fabric, and we're going to be using a vinyl, and I recommend grabbing about 1.5 yards just to be safe. You can also use a duck canvas or a twill. Those both will work just fine. You want to grab 2 zippers, and I recommend grabbing a 26 and a 24-inch zipper. You want to grab 2 swivel clips and 1 D-ring. 2 1/4-inch eyelets. And lastly, the pattern, and this pattern is available at properfitclothing.com, and the links for everything will be in the description, so definitely check that out. Getting started, go ahead and trace your pattern on the fold and cut it out, and then go ahead and cut out your pocket pieces as well. Grab your top pocket panel and the shorter zipper, and what you're going to do is place the right sides together and sew along that edge. Now go ahead and roll that seam over and do a top stitch all the way across. Grab the bottom half of that pocket and go ahead and do the same exact thing but on the opposite side of the zipper. And make sure both the top and the bottom panels are lined up exactly. Next, we're going to go ahead and place that pocket on the bag, and we're going to want it pretty far from the bottom because that bottom is going to be getting sewn in. So I would say go about 2 inches down from where it starts straightening out on that curve. And we're going to start by stitching on the bottom, so go ahead and flip it over with the right sides together, pin it on, and stitch across at 1/4-inch seam allowance. Flip it back over with the right side up, and go ahead and top stitch that bottom edge. Now for the top portion, we're going to go ahead and roll over that top edge and pin it down. Once you have it rolled over, go ahead and sew it on like you're doing a top stitch. Next, we're going to be adding on our D-ring, and I recommend using about a 3-inch piece. Mark the back center, and this is going to be the opposite side of your pocket. Then go ahead and stitch it on right on that edge. Now we're going to be adding on the zipper, and this part is a little bit tricky because you want it to line up on both sides, but go ahead and pin on 1/2 of your zipper. And once you have it lined up and you're ready, go ahead and sew it on all the way around. And we're going to do the same exact thing for the back panel, and just make sure that both of the zippers start and end at the same place as the front zipper. And before you move on any further, I recommend zipping it together to make sure that everything lines up. And if everything lines up nice, go ahead and top stitch around those zippers. And then go ahead and repeat this process for the other side. And before we sew it together, move that pocket zipper train towards the center. Then go ahead and flip it inside out and zip it about halfway, and we're going to be sewing those edges. And make sure those zippers are lined up, and go ahead and sew about a 1/4 inch seam allowance down each side. And now that you have it sewn together, you can go ahead and cut off the zipper ends from the pocket. Next step is pulling out those ends, kind of like cat ears, and we're gonna sew across those ends on both sides, and this is gonna give it that squarish bottom. And the further you sew in, the smaller that bottom is gonna be, so I recommend going in about 1 to 2 inches. And we ended up moving ours up about 1 inch in after testing a few different areas, and I think about 1 inch in works the best. Now we're gonna be adding on the eyelets, and these go right above the pocket on the outside edge. And we're gonna be installing it with the hammer die. It's super common to find these when you buy eyelets. Typically they'll come with the pack. And one problem we ran into is that our clasp is just a little bit too small, the opening to fit. So you can either put the eyelet closer to the edge or just buy clasps that have a bigger opening. But we still did make this work in the end, but just definitely take that into consideration. Now we're going to show you 2 different ways to make a strap. You can either use webbing, and I would recommend using a wider webbing that matches your actual clasp. And all you do is feed it through, fold it over, and sew it on for both ends. And the other option is to cut 2 pieces of fabric, and we're cutting these at about 46 inches. And then you're going to want to place the wrong sides together and bias tape both sides. Either way really works. It's totally up to you on what style you want to go for. I recommend using the webbing. It's a little bit easier and kind of just flows with the bag better. But there you have it, your bag is complete. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. If you have any ideas for you, definitely send them our way. We'll try to make it happen for you. But until then, we're gonna keep the videos coming at you, so we'll see you next time.